Well, welcome to this first episode of Driving New Zealand's Outback. And what I've got behind me there is the New Zealand Outback. We're up in the Southern Alps and we're at the back of Tekapo. So what we're going to do in this program is go up that valley up there, all the way up to a place called the Macaulay hut. And we'll all move in there. I think there's 14 beds up there, enough for everybody that's on this trip. And we'll camp up there tonight. So it's about 12k, I think, from this point up to the hut, but it takes about 3, maybe nearly 4 hours to go that far. So it's fine till you get to about halfway, and then you've got to make your own track further up. So anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy the first episode of Driving New Zealand Outback. There are two valleys. One goes up the Macaulay and the other one goes up the Godley. And we have to cross the Macaulay River in order to get up to where we're going. And normally this river can be ferocious. There's a few times we've come here and that river is just absolutely impassable. So to see it today, practically just a few little streams here and there, is absolutely wonderful. So there's no chance of us having to sort of turn around because it's too flooded on our way back, and the weather forecast ahead is nice and fine. So we're crossing the Macaulay River over to the other side, and when we get there we'll hang a right and follow the road up towards the Macaulay hut. Coming with us on this trek is Jim and his brother, and in the little Nissan is Bob and his wife Lee, and then we've got Ralph and Jan in the Jeep, and Big Bad Ralph in his Nissan Patrol, which we call Rescue 1. The Kepler people in Hamilton sell Havel and GWM cannons. They've kindly given me this vehicle to drive over the coming weeks and to try it over some of the South Island 4x4 treks. This is day one, and this track mainly consists of riverbeds and river rocks, so not too much chance of getting really stuck. The Macaulay River flows down this valley, and looking at the state of the crossing, I don't think river crossings are going to be too much of a hassle. Off to the left of this track is a station called Lilybank, and when we come back tomorrow we'll head through the Lilybank station to get to the Godley Valley, but that's tomorrow. Coming with us is my old Mahindra pickup, which has proven itself time and time again. In the Nissan is Bob and Lee. Bob is the trek mechanic. A mechanic on these treks is absolutely essential. The rule is, if you break down and Bob can't get you going again, then we'll get you to the nearest town, and from there you look after yourself. Fortunately, this has only ever happened twice in the 22 years we've been doing this. Capital Tyres in Hamilton has supplied the GWM's tyres, so we're fully equipped. They say tyres are everything when you're four-wheel driving, so these are mud terrain tyres, and they are the key. After all, they're what connect you to the road. They say once worn down to 25%, they start to lose it a bit. The Canon has just about every digital assistance device fitted, from diff locks through to hill assist when descending a hill. In the old days we used to have to get out and manually lock in the front hubs, but these days that's all part of the deal, no need to get out at all. It's got plenty of safety devices as well. It beeps at you for a variety of reasons, telling you there's a car close by. It's got great cameras telling you what's behind and front and all around. And it won't move until the doors are properly closed and the driver's seatbelt is done up. You just dial up low four-wheel drive mode on a switch at the centre panel beside you and you're all set to go. This truck's been lifted 2 inches in the front and fitted with a snorkel and a nudge bar in the front for a bit of protection. So, she's fully equipped. Some of the trucks that are coming with us are old school, and they don't care whether your door's closed or your seatbelt's on, and in some circumstances on four-wheel drive tracks that can be a good thing. Crossing rivers has a little niggly concern that goes with it about the computer in your truck getting wet. It used to be that we just worried about the air intake getting a gulp of water, but modern vehicles are built for safety these days, and that's important. Crossing over stones can also be a concern, like sliding down a stony slope for instance. There are some big stones in the mix and these could damage your diff. A smaller stone can get lodged in the brake and make a screeching sound, or get lodged in a tyre beading, which basically means it goes flat. And so you've got to be aware of the size of the stones that you're travelling over, and when you're in a river, getting a stone in a bead can also slow you down and become a bit of a problem. We've had many a flat tyre caused by a stone in the bead in our travels over the last 22 years. We're heading up into the Southern Alps, and we're going up the Macaulay Valley, and this is the valley, and there's a river in there somewhere, and that's you go over that hill to Mesopotamia, and you go up over this hill to the Godley Valley. So this is the Macaulay Valley, and it's certainly up here in the middle of nowhere, and if you get stuck, it's a long way back to Tekapo to get some help. But you wouldn't want to be standing here when these rocks were being flung about. But once we go around the next corner, it's coming up, a bit of a bluff there, we're into no man's land, and this track will start disappearing. So as the river flows come down the valley, so the tracks sort of get taken out. But each year some people go up and make a new track. So sometimes it's difficult to see the track, so you've really got to make your own. So that's a lot of fun. And it's 3:45. It's about 5k up to the hut, and that's another couple of hours away. So our current speed is 5 miles an hour, 5k an hour. Yeah, challenging stuff. So guys, rocks, and you really got to be careful. I mean, it's just like a bit of a highway, this bit, but there's big rocks, small rocks, and if you come off that little edge, that's probably enough to roll you over.
Oh, absolutely. That's steeper than what it looks on camera.
And they tend to slide too when they're shiny like that.
Oh,
they slide away from it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so that sort of pulls your truck, whichever way it's trying to do.
So there's a few rocks there you wouldn't want to sort of have go underneath your diff.
No. As you can see, as it goes along there, it's higher than the side plate, so
yeah,
it makes quite a bang underneath.
Yeah. And so it's like this all the way up to the top. We're climbing over the rocks the whole way, pretty much.
Yes, yeah, all the way through. It's just more rocks and rocks and more rocks.
So here we're going to attack the water. So let's just talk about water for a minute. The water's going through the brake drums, you know, and through the wheels, and sort of going with the currents running like it is, and the water's just going through the. How much damage is that water capable of?
Well, they say that if it's underwater, well, deep in water, if you push the clutch in, it'll make the clutch slip. You know, and so you've got to be careful not to use the clutch as you're going through. You know, decide what gear you're going in and carry on. You don't change gear when you're in there.
So you select your gear, go through the water, and
absolutely,
yeah,
stay there.
Yeah. And it's all about the cooling and sucking stuff in, and that's why your maintenance on four-wheel drives is a lot higher when you do this sort of work.
Yeah, I see you're travelling, getting close to the hut now, and what you're looking for, I can just see on the slide on the right-hand side there, sorry, left-hand side there, there's a pile of rocks. And there you go, there's a pile of rocks on the right, I think, that you've headed for. There they are, a little stack of rocks that somebody stuck up and say, here's the road,
yes.
Or here's the road when we came. But that's, you're not going to get stuck on that rocky terrain.
No.
With me is Tim Elliott from Kepler Motors in Hamilton, and good on you, Tim.
See you.
Maybe tell us a little bit about the vehicles you sell.
Right, well, we've got an absolutely amazing range from the GWM Haval product lineup. We start with a small SUV with the Julian, and we start from that at $27,990 plus on-road costs. We then go through that range. We have 3 models in the Julian range. We then go into the H6, which is the next size up, your mid-size SUV, and that we actually have 5 models in that range.
Wow.
Yeah, starting from $33,990.
Yeah.
So when you look at the value for money in our range, and we even have right through to a hybrid like our new car behind me here. As well as the SUVs, we have a stunning lineup of the GWM Cannon, which is New Zealand Autocar Magazine's Ute of the Year for 2020.
Wow.
Not only has it come up Ute of the Year because of its build quality, ride quality and safety, now 5-star safety rating in 2021, it is an absolutely amazing package. You don't get the harsh ride that you traditionally get in a ute, but you get all the safety and benefit of having 3-ton towing capacity, up to a ton payload in the back, but also room for your guests in the back of the vehicle if you're taking a few along with you.
With a bit of legroom.
With a bit of legroom and vents in the back so they have actually get a bit of fresh air as well.
Well, that's marvellous. Get hold of Tim and I'm sure he'll look after you.
Look forward to hearing from you.
Capital Tyres in the CBD of Hamilton. We have been servicing the Hamilton and Greater Waikato since 1979. We're not a franchise. Capital Tyres is a family-owned and operated business situated in the CBD of Hamilton. Please feel free to look through our tyre and tyre maintenance services online, or even better still, come and visit our friendly and experienced team today. Check out our webpage at www.capitaltyres.co.nz or call us on 07 839 4115. That's 07 839 4115. Before we headed out on this four-wheel drive trek, it was decided to fit a nudge bar on the front of the TekapoLake GWN Cannon. Aliark from Whanganui were the people who made it and fitted it, and what a great job, and just as well we did. It certainly protected the front of the Cannon. So I've no hesitation in recommending Aliark for your nudge bar or bull bar, so check them out at aliark.co.nz or email them at info@aliark.co.nz or call them 0800 4 bull bars. That's 0800 4 bull bars. So what we're looking here for, guys, is those little pile of rocks, and there's quite a number of them as we came up. Somebody sort of set them in place and think, well, at least when we come back here, we know where we've been or we know where we've got the head for. But you get those big floods and it just changes the whole terrain.
Yeah, well, they all disappear again.
And they all get bowled over with the water.
Yeah. They're signposts for us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With no wording.
No wording, no, just a little pile of rocks. And going up that, it's pretty steep. And those big tyres, they all sort of just rip and drag themselves up there.
Yes, it's a lot steeper and deeper than it looks.
We made it. Here we are, in the top of the Southern Alps. So it's quite comfortable in this hut. I mean, you've got to say it's got everything you need. There's a radio there and all the rest of it. And everybody's cooked their own meals and some steak to baked beans to boiled eggs. Yeah.
It's actually surprising what people bring along.
Yeah. But when you step out, you've got that panoramic view of the Southern Alps. And as you were saying, Bob, it doesn't look all that far to the edge of the mountain there, but we had one of the fellows who was staying with us said it was a 2-hour walk.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Then he left his keys and had to go back again.
Yeah. And so we're all sort of singing party songs and entertaining each other until it's time to wake up. At the top of the Macaulay, there's this hut. And it was built in Helen Clark's era as Prime Minister by Doc, and it's a huge compliment to those guys who built it. Absolute brick toilet, and what's in there is a radio. If something happens, you can actually call for help. There's a whole area for cooking. There's a big bedroom. I think it's got 14 beds in there, and there's a big wood pile out the back if you want to sort of light the fire stove thing. So you can have a hot water container or a jug on top of the fire range to have a cup of tea anytime you like, after it's got hot, of course. And it's very, very comfortable. So if you're coming up this way, up the Maccaulay River, you've got this to look forward to. So you can stay, as I said, you can stay overnight, enjoy yourself in this wonderful, magnificent panorama of mountains here. In the winter it would look absolutely spectacular, all covered in snow, but it'd be very, very cold. So anyway, the Macaulay hut. In the Macaulay hut is the probably the last photograph taken of Sir Edmund Hillary. And there used to be a bath just over there. Somebody's either stole it or it's floated away downstream in one of the floods they had here. But anyway, Sir Ed's in there and in the bath, and it's an interesting shot of the late Sir Edmund Hillary. We're heading back now, and it always seems to me when you're heading back it's shorter, or it doesn't take as long, or maybe that's just an optical illusion or something, or a hearing illusion. But it always just seems to be quicker going back than when you came. Mind you, we've made our own track and we know where we're going heading back, so I guess that makes a difference.
Yes, it is an optical illusion really, because it wouldn't be much in it, because it still takes the same amount of time going back, because it's coming the same distance, you know. But it depends on if you've run into other vehicles as well.
Yeah. But those hills look absolutely spectacular with no snow on them. I mean, we had some people one year who climbed up over that hill and down the other side, a man and his son. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
And they arrived at the hut, and the next day they were crossing and climbing up over the other side towards Mesopotamia. But looking back at that, where we've just come from, and we're sort of following the riverbed, which is a good thing to do, I guess. It's all taking you back to where you want to go. Yeah.
It's a good shot of the vehicle, that's for sure.
You just got to be careful, because when the lights go out there, it just goes instant dark. There's no...
Yes, I don't think you want to be crawling around up there in the dark. You'll need to be getting to where you're going. But anyway, let's have a chat about the scenery. Well, we've left the hut and we've come down the long trek back to the Macaulay River. And we're pretty much in the middle of this valley that goes all the way back up to the Macaulay hut and the mountains beyond. And it just looks absolutely stunning. I mean, I can sit and look at that forever. Wonderful. This truck, the old Great Wall, it's impressive. It's we've had it going up, we've had it coming back to this point, and it just hasn't missed a beat at all. So I'm very impressed, and we've got another 4 days to go to be more impressed. So we're looking forward to carrying on back down to the Macaulay, then up to the other side of this range here to the Godley Valley, and we'll go up that, cross a few rivers and things like that, all the way to the top when we can see the glacier. So that's what we're going to do next. But I just thought, looking at that, I could sit here and look at that all day. Wonderful. So what do you think of it so far, Jim?
Well, I'm glad I came.
Excellent.
Great adventure.
What do you think of that?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I could look at that all day myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well.
And it's just sitting there, you know, it doesn't give a rat's ass who looks at it.
No.
Just there day in, day out. Some people see it, some people don't. It's amazing. Yeah, good on you, mate. Thanks very much. Coming down some of these rocky banks on the way back, you can just see I went over a great big rock there, but a lot of guys have a tow bar on the back of their trucks, and it's that tow bar, depending on how low it is, and sort of go crash when your bum sort of gets near the top on the way down. So just have a look at the Mahindra now as it goes down. It's got a tow bar stuck out the back, and see that? It just took away all those bits of rock there. Big crashy noise, and you go, when you're driving you think, oh God, what was that? And what it was just the tow bar sort of connecting with the ground and moving a few of those rocks. Even Bob bounced off a few rocks just then, and here comes the Jeep. I'm not sure if he's got a tow bar or not. Let's have a look. Nope, he's down safe and sound, even though he has got a tow bar. It's actually quite high up. And so we're moving right along. We're getting near the end now, and another big pile of rocks, but we missed that. And on our way, we're coming to this what we call the swimming pool, which is just a big long waterway. The water's come in from a flooding river at some stage, and it hasn't been able to drain away. So we travel through that. It's not all that deep, but it's still a waterway, and it's still fun. And that's what four-wheel drive treks are all about, having a lot of fun. Well, we've made it back to the Macaulay River, and here we turn right and go through the Lilybank Station. Lilybank Station extends all the way up the Godley Valley, and we have to go through the buildings of that station to get through to the road that heads up to the Godley. So after the break, we're going to enjoy what the Godley's got in store for us. Capital Tyres in the CBD of Hamilton. We have been servicing the Hamilton and Greater Waikato since 1979. We're not a franchise. Capital Tyres is a family-owned and operated business situated in the CBD of Hamilton. Please feel free to look through our tyre and tyre maintenance services online, or even better still, come and visit our friendly and experienced team today. Check out our webpage at www.capitaltyres.co.nz or call us on 07 839 4115. That's 07 839 4115. Before we headed out on this four-wheel drive trek, it was decided to fit a nudge bar on the front of the Kepler GWN Cannon. Aliark from Whanganui were the people who made it and fitted it, and what a great job, and just as well we did. It certainly protected the front of the Cannon. So I've no hesitation in recommending Aliark for your nudge bar or bull bar, so check them out at aliark.co.nz or email them at info@aliark.co.nz or call them 0800 4 bull bars. That's 0800 4 bull bars. So I've driven this vehicle from Auckland to Tekapo and up a couple of southern Alp valleys. The off-roading aspect has proven to be excellent, and I'm pretty impressed with it. So if you're interested in a GWM Cannon, get a hold of Tim at tim@keplers.co.nz and he'll make the arrangements for you to have a test drive. So check out Keplers, www.keplers.co.nz. At the start of the Godley track, there's a sign that says Public Road. And I always think it's pretty odd, this sign stuck in the middle of nowhere and points to nowhere. So you follow the track around to the right and we begin the Godley section of driving New Zealand outback. Well, the Godley Valley is the complete opposite to the Macaulay Valley. The water here is tons of it, and it's all running down towards the big lake. And look at that, it's just water, water, water everywhere, and there's a track that even covered in water as we drive through it. So we're expecting a few, hapai serious river crossings coming up. And here's the first one, and I'm talking to Ralph and looking at this and thinking about how are we going to attack this. So the plan is we're going to put Ralph across this little river first, and he's got a rope on the back just in case he gets stuck or something happens, and while he goes over we'll just assess how deep it is, because the Mahindra hasn't got a snorkel. So if we think it's too deep, what we'll do is put a tow rope on the Mahindra and we'll just tow that across. So that's the plan.
You know my luck, it'll be about 3 metres too short. That's why he ran the rope out. He wanted me to walk the bloody full length.
Oh, did
See if I'm capable of walking that far. Now, Bob, now come on. Yeah. But if you insist.
Oh, you were going to show me up.
Take every opportunity.
Hard enough.
problem.
Yeah, no problem. We'll hook this onto the Mahindra. You can tow him through.
Leave the engine off, or it should be shallow enough, shouldn't it?
You just leave the engine off just in case. So what we're going to do is, better safe than sorry, we're going to hook the Mahindra up, as I said, he hasn't got a snorkel, and we'll just use this rope that Ralph's put on to, just in case he got stuck. You got a shackle?
Righto.
Okay. Just,
Yeah, we're only hooking you on so you can tow him back out. Right?
okay, we're ready to rock.
Just follow him.
Hooray! Straight through there, but
So what's the story here, Bill?
we'll just go straight over there, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
and then up that way a bit. So we've come to another little delta in this river. So the way across is just straight up like that, but they actually say that you shouldn't go against the water when you're doing four-wheel drive, and it's better to go with it, but there's no way we can go with it. So we've got no choice but just to charge on off through there. So we'll give it a go. Well, so we've got through all those little creeks safe and sound. Next week we continue up the Godley, tackling the rivers, then on for more four-wheel driving adventure in our series Driving New Zealand Outback.